Basketball player Joel is informed by his no-neck doctor that although his knee is healing, its condition continues to deteriorate. Since it's his third injury, the next one will be irreversible, just like the doctor's sloth neck. Disappointed that he can't play anymore, Joel returns home annoyed, leading to a fight with his wife Candace. The next day at the salon where she works, Candace tells her colleague, Stephanie, with a permanent stank face, that Joel is still in denial that his career is over, and that she thinks that telling him the truth will make her come off as unsupportive. She expresses her frustration about him still trying to fight for his basketball career rather than using his degree to work on a stable job in the area, which will allow him to come home to her every day. Stephanie advises her to tell him how she feels. Stephanie tells Candace that her boyfriend Dion keeps borrowing her car when he wants to stay low-key, but doesn't tell her why. She adds that she knows he's out with women and is probably doing something that's illegal, but she doesn't say anything because he provides for her and eats her kitty when he's home. Stephanie says Candace shouldn't judge her because her bills are paid. Joel shares with his friend Nolan, with the funkiest hairdo, that he feels it's unfair that he got drafted out of Lane College, but is now forced to not play before he can even start playing in the league. Nolan advises him to apply on Lane College's coach EG's staff because EG has been considering retirement, and it's his best option to not waste his talent. Later, Candace apologizes to Joel for not giving him space after he got the devastating news the day before. When Joel informs her that he is going to try coaching, Candace tells him that she prefers he does something else because she wants him to be home more. Not wanting to come off as unsupportive, Candace says he should do whatever makes him happy, but her demeanor shows the opposite. The next day, Candace finds gap-toothed Dion waiting for Stephanie at the salon. As they talk, Dion realizes that Stephanie had told Candace about him borrowing her car, and Candace realizes that Stephanie had told Dion about Joel's career-ending injury. When Candace asks him what he does, he says that he's a businessman and offers to help Joel if he needs work, saying he has connections everywhere, which Candace immediately declines. Meanwhile, EG tells Joel that he wants him to succeed him when he retires because he knows he's a good player and he is passionate about the game. Then Dion starts flirting with Candace, who immediately rejects his advances. He later tells Stephanie that Candace is acting like she likes him when he's just trying to talk to her. Stephanie tells him to leave Candace alone because she is going through something and reprimands him for telling her that she told him about Joel. Dion, a gossipy, messy queen. At home, Joel tries to convince Candace to support his decision to do coaching, saying he will be on the road, but not as much as when he was a player. Candace nonchalantly tells him, "That's good," and goes to bed all sad because her coochie didn't get ate. The next day, Dion calls Candace, who then wonders how he got her number. She tells him that Stephanie won't be okay with him calling her, asks him to leave her alone, and hangs up. Then Joel tells Nolan that he took the coaching job, so he will be attending a coaching conference in Florida the following week with another new coach, but he will be back before Candace's birthday. He shares that although Candace tries to appear supportive, he knows that she doesn't really support his decision because no one's going to be home to eat her hoo-ha. When he expresses his disappointment about everything that's happening, Nolan tells him that his mindset matters and that things might turn out for the best. While having lunch with Stephanie, Candace receives a flirty text from Dion. When Candace asks about Dion's job, Stephanie tells her that he's into real estate, but it's just a cover. When asked if she's not worried since she's the kind of person who plays safe, Stephanie tells Candace that she doesn't snoop around his business to protect her peace and her eyebrows penciled. She also advises Candace that, like her, she should appreciate that Joel is trying his best to provide for them. EG introduces Joel to Danielle, the new assistant coach he'll be attending the conference with. Joel and Danielle then get acquainted as they drive to Florida. Meanwhile, at home, Candace finds the bouquet Joel bought for her and the sweet letter he wrote for her, which puts a smile on her face. But her coochie still yearns for something more. When Joel and Danielle arrive at the hotel, they learn that the hotel has reserved a double bedroom for them, and they can't book an extra room, so they can have one each because the hotel is full. Danielle says it's not a big deal and that she's too tired to look for another accommodation, and tells Joel that Candace won't find out unless he tells her since he's so concerned. That night, Joel has a very wet dream about Danielle being all seductive. 3 days later, after Danielle awakens Joel, she tells him that he had been softly moaning in his sleep since they got there. She wishes she was sleeping as good as him, not knowing that he has been dreaming about breaking her back. Joel then insists on leaving immediately after their last conference day because it's Candace's birthday the next day, and he wants to be there when she wakes up. Meanwhile, field goal Teef Dion continues to flirt with Candace despite her rejections and teases her that she secretly likes it because she hasn't told Stephanie yet. On the drive home, Joel and Danielle stop at a gas station so Danielle can take a deuce. Unfortunately, Joel is arrested, prompting Danielle to call EG. Shortly after, Candace calls Joel's phone, which he had left in the car. Danielle answers, introduces herself, and informs her that Joel was arrested. Joel calls Candace from prison and greets her happy birthday. He explains that he had stopped at a gas station that had just been robbed before he got there. So when he arrived, the cops thought he was the suspect and took him in. Candace confronts him for not telling her that he was in Florida for a week with a woman and casts doubt on whether he truly went to a conference or if he was just out cheating. She also points out that she wouldn't have discovered it if he hadn't been arrested. Joel explains that Danielle is a coach and she can verify it with EG. He asks for her support and asks that they don't fight, as he is anxious, given that he has never been in prison before. Candace, however, tells him that she doesn't know what to believe anymore and expresses her disappointment about spending her birthday alone. "Miss Girl, your boy in prison and you just worried about yourself." Candace celebrates her birthday alone in the house. She blows out her birthday candles and tearfully drinks a bottle of wine. How dramatic. Celebrate it some other day. To her surprise, Dion knocks on her door and greets her happy birthday. When she rejects him, saying she isn't going to go that low and date her best friend's man, he tells her that Stephanie only sees her as a business partner and not as her best friend. He also insinuates that Joel is cheating with Danielle because bosses will for sure not send a man and a woman together on a business trip. Dion offers that they celebrate her birthday in a club he frequents called the Lust Lounge and promises that nobody she knows will be there. When he's about to leave, finally taking her rejection, Candace accepts his offer, but clarifies that she's only accepting because he offered and she's bored. But I bet her kitty purring and itching to be petted again. While getting ready, the rabbit teeth man ends up licking Candace's birthday cake. A bit of foreshadowing, I'm sure. At the Lust Lounge, Candace asks Dion if he's a drug dealer, but he insists that he's in the real estate business, saying he has 6 Airbnb properties. Dion later brings Candace to one of them, where he makes a move on her. Candace resists, even pulls out her gun she carries in her purse. However, Dion says he's the one who's going to do the shooting into her. He kisses her, she gives in, and they end up doing the nasty. When she awakens, she quickly puts her clothes on and demands that he take her home because what they did was wrong. That post-nut regret is crazy. When Candace gets home, she showers, feeling guilty about what happened between her and Dion. However, when she remembers their steamy time together, she can't help but smile and bite her lip. She later receives a bouquet from Dion with a letter that says he wants to see her again. While in the car with Dion, Stephanie points out how odd he's been acting lately, but Dion brushes her off. After getting a text, he tells her that he needs to drop her off because there's a problem he needs to fix in one of his houses, making her upset. He then drives to the house he took Candace to and finds a birthday suit Candace waiting for him. Joel arrives home and informs Candace that EG got him out of jail through his connections. He reiterates that nothing happened between him and Danielle and apologizes for not telling her that he was traveling with a woman and for missing her birthday. To his surprise, she just calmly tells him that they're okay and leaves instead of fighting with him. Soon, Joel notices that Candace is giggling while texting, but she tells him that she's talking to Stephanie. Danielle apologizes to Joel for causing a fight between him and Candace, and he tells her that it's okay. "Joel, you free to sleep with her now." At the salon, Stephanie's client and friend tells Stephanie that she had overheard her man, Rashawn, and Dion talking the other day, and reveals her assumption about Dion and Candace. "Oh, mustache girl is messy." Then Candace asks Joel to drive her to her mom's house because she'll be spending the weekend there. Later, Candace's mom confronts Candace for cheating on Joel, saying she saw her giggling and smiling while texting. Candace tells her it's nothing serious and that she feels bored in her marriage. Damn, her mom looks like her sister. While Nolan visits Joel, who's drinking alone at home, Dion and Candace return to the Lust Lounge. A club employee who had dated Nolan calls him to inform him that Candace is there with another man. She sends him a photo of them and the address of the club, which Nolan relays to Joel. Joel asks Nolan to leave and heads out with his gun. After seeing Candace and Dion leave the club, he follows them to their love nest. While Dion is breaking Candace's back, Stephanie arrives with a knife. She attacks Candace, who, out of fear and panic, fatally shoots Stephanie with the gun she always carries in her purse. Dion runs to Stephanie's aid, and when he is about to approach Candace, out of fear and panic, fatally shoots him. Joel enters the house and sees Candace sobbing and the 2 corpses. As Candace tearfully tells him that she didn't mean to shoot them, he gently takes her gun and orders her to go to the car. He wipes their fingerprints off the gun and places the gun in Stephanie's hand, and he takes pieces of evidence that might incriminate Candace. At home, Joel tells Candace that he went there to kill her and Dion, as he felt like he no longer had anything to lose, but he realized that it would be too messed up if he messes up the rest of his life over someone who didn't even care that he ended up in jail for rushing back to be home with her. He kicks her out of the house, saying she should be gone the next day. Hell nah, I would have reported her. Over a year later, Joel is doing well as a coach at Lane College, and he is in a relationship with Danielle. One day, Candace drops by Joel's to pick up a bunch of mail, hoping to find what she's looking for. She looks sad and depressed, and it turns out she has a baby. We can assume Dion is the father. Damn, this was a trifling mess. What did you guys think of this one? There's apparently a sequel, but it seems unrelated to this. Should I cover it?
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.